Hello everybody, it's Wonderful Wind Mage, your Cruise Ship servant, Chartreuse Proxy, ever and always at your service. Hello everybody! It's odd to see me streaming on Mondays this late, because I usually have night plans with friends, but I got things off because, well, schedule things came up. So instead, I am getting to play Rabbit and Steel for the first time in forever, it feels like. I haven't played it within like a good month, at least on stream. That's because I've been hard at work at doing something else. So I did a lot of like both no commentary and commentary runs. That is because I was one, either grinding lunar difficulty, which I am definitely not going to do because I'm super rusty, but also two, because I've been doing something else. If I go to my favorite character, the dancer. Wah! The Cruzie and Steel is real! I have painstakingly taken the past month or so in getting my old Galmon art tablet out from, it's still plugged in, let me disconnect that real quick, from the bottom of like my old desk drawer and everything like that or so, and you know, I finally got it out after using a drawer just so in like year 2 of VTubing, sorry, 2022 for me and all, to not using it at all for 2 years, to finally bring it out again so I could make a mod of myself. Because I was so inspired after seeing so much fan art from my timeline, from other people or so, that I had to mod myself into the game. Now, honestly, I should have modded myself onto the first Dancer Rabbit, considering how she has more of a yellow sprite frame. But I've been playing Red Dancer so much that I just kind of, you know, I just overlaid onto that, and well, that's how it goes. But hi, Crimson, hi, Calvin. Hope y'all are doing well. But yeah, it's fully me. All custom-made sprites and everything like that I made myself, and oh, it's here! I'm so happy. Okay, for those of you that don't know what Rabbit and Steel is, or if you have, or if you've seen a little bit but don't exactly know the premise, it's basically a roguelike raiding simulator, kind of like MMO raiding or so. It's made to be played by up to 1 to 4 people, and if I also go back to the title screen, for instance. Give me 1 second here. Go back to the title screen. It supports online play and everything like that to be able to play with people or so, or you can even join the Discord. And well, yeah, it's a roguelike raiding simulator basically or so. So anybody that's played any MMO, anything like that or so, you would be very fine-tuned with the mechanics. But I'm playing it solo, as I've played like 99% of this game. So, it'll be a lot more just bullet hell akin. But we'll just get into it or so. I'm just going to do some casual runs since I am super rusty on it. But in essence, you are playing as a rabbit of one of multiple different classes or so. There are 10 classes in the game at the moment. But my favorite is the dancer. So, that's who I modded myself over. You go through 3 out of 5 different areas in the game, making your way to the Pale Keep, to where you basically try to fight the Rabbit of the Moon. There's a whole plot to it and all, but for essence, you're just beating up enemies as a rabbit. Yeah, the big thing about it is that you have a kit of 4 abilities. Like any good MMO, it's all about figuring out your rotation of abilities and everything like that or so. And you're trying to to DPS the bosses and kill them, since, you know, what other things are you gonna do in a video game besides fight enemies, right? Key things to note is that I should be going over my kit first and foremost as I go on. I have a primary, secondary, special, and evasive, basically, as denoted over here, or defensive rather, it's how it's coded. My primary is a twirl that strikes twice horizontally, wherever I am laid, and I spin as a dancer should. My secondary, it is a homing attack that does damage twice, and like I said, it homes it on where the enemy is. It does less damage than my primary, though, so I want to emphasize using my primary as much, as it's 60 times 2 versus 50 times 2. So 120 versus 100, it still is, you know, going to be something important to take note of. My special is a big burst attack that you can see goes about 2/3 of the screen. It does 350 damage in a large radius, but the thing about it is that it has a cooldown as opposed to my other cooldown, as opposed to my other 2 abilities, which have no cooldown, just the global cast time. However, as you saw right there, anytime I use any ability, any primary secondary, there's a 30% chance of resetting. So, I want to always be using my special on cooldown, and then using either of my other damaging abilities otherwise. Now, the reason you may be asking, besides just the range of why would I want to use my secondary over my primary, is you can see here, anytime I use one of those, if I use my primary, charges my secondary twice, as denoted by the glowing ability icon, and by the 2 exclamation points. What does charge to? It tells you. It deals 1.5x damage instead. So, I'll be doing increased damage for my next 2 secondaries, and vice versa. My secondary charges my primary. So I'm always going to be alternating my kit, and that will make the essence of my ability rotation. Use my special on cooldown, off cooldown as much as possible, secondary once, primary twice if in range, otherwise, do the exact opposite, primary once, secondary twice. Finally, we get on to the defensive. This is a long cooldown, because it gives me invulnerability for a few frames. Gain brief invulnerability, as you can see right there, and it erases enemy projectiles. So as long as I'm flashing right there, I'm invulnerable to any attacks, which is big considering how I have only, 5 HP. The big thing about Dancer, though, is that I give all allies Warcry, which deals 20% more damage, for 5 seconds. So exactly so, what I'm opening most fights with is Invuln for Warcry for the increased damage, and then immediately pressing the special button to try to see if I can sneak in maybe 2 casts right there. Is this open source Toho, says Dalvin? Well, the creator is actually looking to try to help out mod support in the future. But I guess, in a way, if you wanted to put it there. But there's much more of Toho fandoms you can just say. It's not even open source you would need to look at. But it's an interesting contrast because all defensive abilities are built this way, to where they have a built-in defensive mechanic of invulnerability and erasing projectiles, but also an offensive mechanic with giving your team buffs, or rather in me playing solo, yourself buffs. So it's a nice push and pull with trying to figure it out. But for now, we are in the Kingdom Outskirts, which is the tutorial area, so for the first fights, we'll get these treasure spears, which make the essence of the roguelike. Exactly so, trying to see, alright, how well can we build our deck, basically, here. Deal 200 damage or more to all enemies when using an ability or loot item with a cooldown of 10 seconds or more. So, the big note is that it would proc on my defensive, but not on my special, secondary, primary, since they don't have any cooldowns above 10 or more. So that's not as useful unless I get to upgrading my abilities later. You deal 30% more damage when you are separated from your target by at least 3 rabbit leaps. Could be nice, but it basically means it's never going to go off of my primary. Rabbit leaps is just the name of distance in this game. It can go off of my secondary, and I have to be really close with my special. I have to be pointed really careful with my special range. So, not high in this. You do 5% more damage with Red Bot Ribbon. When you place a debuff on an opponent, your defensive has a 50% chance of resetting. There are classes that provide a lot more debuffs on the enemies, but me, playing as Dancer, I am more focused on giving buffs to myself and my allies, so not looking that good. I'm looking at the 2 on the right here. Dark Magic Blade. Every 10 seconds, slice the air around you, dealing 300 damage and applying curse to nearby enemies. So, this is a pretty simple one. It's automatic, so every 10 seconds, this will just already be an AoE around me, and applies curse for 10 damage. I don't have to think about it, it just goes off. It's basically another ability to my rotation for free. But I think I'd prefer to have Phantom Dagger. Your secondary now only deals 10 damage, but applies Ghost Flame. Ghost Flame is an interesting status effect to where you can see it deals damage when applied and upon wearing off. So, my secondary, as I went over there right now, in my current state, is dealing 50 damage times 2, so 100 damage if I use it once. But I'm looking to use my primary more just because of the innate charge mechanic. So if I take Phantom Dagger, I essentially move my damage potential of every secondary up from 100 damage to 500, because it deals 250 at the beginning. Because it deals damage when applied and upon wearing off. Ghost Flame, you can see right there. So, deals 250 at first, and then 250 after. Actually, it's 206, it's going to be 510 damage, so it's 10 damage off my secondary. Actually, no, it's 520, so that is absolutely the best pick. Yeah, it only deals 10 damage twice, but the Ghost Flame prod moves my DPS up so much. Crimson says, honestly, it's so cool how everything was designed to be synergistic with each other, and also having the risk reward of being aggressive to get the most out of it. That's the big mark, and especially, I'm playing on hard, which is the second highest difficulty right next to Lunar. But when you get to playing Lunar difficulty, like the biggest thing with how difficulty scales is trifold in Rabbit and Steel. 1, enemy attack patterns get harder. 2, your overall health bar gets smaller. And 3, additional things such as such as an additional time limit on how long you have to defeat bosses really starts to tune in, and that is of course going to be a problem later as the game keeps moving on, as you keep moving up, which means you have to make more offensive use of your defensive in higher levels rather than just only using it for your get out of jail free card. So I use the example here. Hard is I am sitting at 5 health. Normal and I think casual is the easiest difficulty. You are sitting at 9 health. No, it's a 9. It's at 7 and 9 health respectively. Lunar, you have 3 health. So 3 hits overall means that you really have to thread the needle and find times to where it's good to use your defensive safely or to push that damage, which is a really good push and pull and balancing levering system. Both for people who are greedy like me and want to use my defensive at all times as an aggressive tactic, and people who are smart and use it as a actual defensive maneuver. The big thing too is out of these treasure spades when you're playing online, all of these items will appear. So let's say you're playing with a party of 4 people, but only 1 person gets it each. Now only 1 person to 1 item, so nobody can take 4 of the Ghost Flame daggers as I just got myself. Only 1 person gets it, and it's a role system, kind of like World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy or just any other MMO. So if both you and another friend want the same item, well, it comes down to the luck of the draw. Otherwise, you might be stuck with something not as optimal. But at least for me, playing solo, I get my pick of the litter. So let's see here. All damage is increased by 30%. Your primary and secondary gain cooldowns of 2 seconds. Honestly, not bad, considering how that will affect my Ghost Flame Dagger. And even if it's 2 seconds, I can just alternate between these two quite frankly without a problem. And even if it's 2 seconds, I can also just weave my specials in. So I'm working at Lancer Gauntlets already. Deal 50 damage to all enemies when your primary or secondary is used. Decent, but 50 damage binary versus 30% scaling is way better. Every 20 times you or debuff supply damage to enemy, apply Spark, which is gonna be a AoE dot damage over time effect. Not as high, because although I am double hitting on primary and secondary, special hits once only, and I'm not applying debuffs. Your primary's global cooldown, GCD, has a 50% chance to be 0.8 seconds instead of its normal amount. So cut it down by 0.4. So instead of it, so global cooldown is just how long it takes to cast your ability, of course. So all of my stuff takes 1.2 seconds. But I could essentially cut my primary cooldown by a third 50% of the time. It's alright. Hermes Bow. Every 10 seconds, fire a projectile at your targeted enemy that deals 250 damage. This resets automatically every 10 rapid leaps. So I basically have to move across like 2/3 of the screen. I think it's Lancer Gauntlets. Because even if, yeah, see 13 damage, quite frankly, it moves my primary and my special up by a huge amount. Actually, wait, Ghost Flame's a status effect, so it actually doesn't move up Ghost Flame. So I read that wrong, but fact is, 2 out of 3 of my damaging abilities profit off of it, so I'm not really... Actually, no. Ghost Flame actually did go up. You see, it dealt 453, so actually, never mind. I am a brilliant strategist, and you all should fear me instead. Nice. You're seeing how already my builds come together simply, and all the little tits, dings, chimes of my abilities resetting. So, it's great, and part of the reason why I love Dancer is, 1, it's easy AoE, so I don't have to worry about most fights, and 2, I love gambling. 30% chance to reset at all times, it's great. So, we are in our first official area, everybody. So, welcome to the Church Mouse Streets. Each area has a specific theme with how its enemies roll, and of course its own boss. But at the beginning of each area, you have a shop. All areas break down to shop at the beginning, 3 regular fights, a treasure sphere which will heal you depending with how much depending on your difficulty, and then of course you'll get your random item, and then the boss. But for now, you get money depending on how fast you kill enemies, which you can spend at the shop here to either fully heal yourself, give yourself levels, which you are automatically getting over fights. 1 level corresponds to 1% of damage. You can buy potions with last the area for cheap, so I can give myself basically a health of 2, a health boost of 2, so if I take 2 hits, I can regen that, increase my movement speed, increase all of my global, increase my global cooldown speed, or I can buy the special gem upgrades, which will completely change how each of my abilities work. So let's see here. Primary. Damage is increased, no longer slows movement on use. Quite frankly huge considering how I am slowed down when I'm casting my primary, whereas my secondary doesn't slow me. Radius is slightly smaller and will no longer reset your special. No longer has a global cooldown. This ability can't be manually activated or automatically activate. Not worth it, although it is enticing to have basically just to use my primary at all times, because I took Lancer Gauntlets, it's not that good. Because then I'm just waiting on nothing. And in like gains cooldowns of 2 seconds, this will be a cooldown of 8 seconds. So, not good. Unfortunately, this time around. Chance of resetting is higher. Instead of 30%, it's 50% on the reset. Honestly, I do kind of like that. Grant all allies Vanish and Warcry. Vanish increases my net stat by 30%, so I would essentially be going 50% increase on what would be a special. But I think I do prefer, overall, either my Emerald or my Garnet for my primary and special, respectively. I think I'll probably go with my primary, just because it's a nice neutral pick. It allows me to move at my natural move speed no matter what. And especially with my ability weaving, that just means only my special is what slows me down. And my VTube model's lagging. I am seeing this. This is unfortunate. Oh well, it's all fine. So I'm 1 buck off. So I could buy levels to help myself keep up with the enemies here. But I think what I'm probably going to do instead is save... I'll save my money, that way if I can find better upgrades in next area, then I will do so. For now though, I am going to tweet VTube Studio and see if I can't connect via Wi-Fi. So I usually connect with, my phone cable and cord through iTunes and all, but if I see my model lagging, I try the other method, so that's way better. Alright. Let's do this thing. Let's keep moving. Hello, ladies. We apply Ghost Flame to both of you. So like I said, each area has a theme. The main theme about the Chartreuse streets, the area that we are currently residing in, is there's a lot more emphasis on multiple enemies. As you can see here, I'm dealing with 2 enemies at once. And also, big areas of effect is mainly what it feels like to me here. As you can see, they are trying to cut down on my lanes of influence just from their cast and all. And I just have to carefully position myself in between where these bullets are going. Well, I feel like that goes for any enemy, but Chartreuse demands, what Chartreuse demands the most is just being able to recognize where your positioning is to anticipate attacks. More than anything, you have to be forward positioning more than reactive positioning, I feel. Of course, each area has, once again, their own specialties and all. But as we get on to the third battle of Chartreuse here, once again, I am dealing with... I was a little too fast because of my upgrade, actually, funny enough. Multiple mechanics. I'm dealing with those big orbs which can hit me and, kill me. You can see here, I have this marker above my head that says stretch the tether, which means if I'm too close, as that tether expires, then it will deal damage to me. So I have to go away from where that's telling me, from where the center point of the tether is, which is in the center of, well, those orbs right there. I have to keep moving back and forth exactly so. I'm dealing with these 2 enemies here, which aren't making it easy at all, considering how their mechanics are complementing each other. But for me as Dancer, this is a pretty seamless fight, considering how all my abilities are AoE, and I really don't have to worry too much about how close or far I am landing to them. Compared to other characters who may be, like, more single damage target face, like the Assassin, for instance, this fight could be a whole lot harder, Chartreuse Streets is a lot harder for exactly so. since this area is the most based on on having to deal AoE damage to multiple enemies in 3 out of 4 of its fights. Your special and defensive has a 30% chance of instant resetting when used. I love gambling. Your primary secondary have a 5% chance to deal 100 times 5 damage to a large radius when used. Could be interesting, it's just more gambling. Use my special cooldown by 2 seconds. I'm already going on the resets of my special, so I think I'd rather take Gemini because it's the higher chance, and if I can keep the haste up, the war cry up for the extra damage at all times, that'd be wonderful without wasting my defensive. That, or my special to just automatically reset on its own like that, and life is even better. So welcome to Matty, the Paladin Mouse. She is introducing a bunch of weird mechanics that you're going to have to get used to here if you are new to seeing things. Such as you can see right here, she is pushing us around. She is introducing the heavy mechanic from the earlier fight, but she is also including all these moving orbs from the third fight in the area here. She's demanding you to recognize, hey, which areas are safe, which are not, and you need to move to them preemptively before the rest of her attacks already start encroaching in on you. As you can see right here, I'm going between the little field of safety while trying to dodge all these orbs. Now, granted, I feel like this is more of my Rabbit and Steel muscle memory just kicking in more than anything here, but it's all about positioning ahead of where things can hit you, such as these giant, deadly squares of doom. At least that's an easier pattern, it feels, right? And right there, the fact that I just got to cast my special like 3 times in a row is hilarious. Next pattern that you're seeing right here, I have a bunch of multiple stretch the tether markers, but I have to do them in order by the countdowns themselves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because that's how they will detonate. So that's telling me how I have to move in that circle of influence right there. So now, phase 2 of the boss. Because it is the Church Mouse Streets where you're going against mice, and they're transformed into their animal forms. And this is where other classes can struggle once again, exactly so. If you don't have AoE to deal with the additional 7 summons that Matty just spawned, well, you're kind of screwed out of luck right there. But since I'm Dancer and I have full AoE on all of my abilities, I say I don't care for that mechanic. Screw you! Whatever. Having to deal with multiple enemies, oh, that's pedantic, that's easy, that's baby food. Yeah, dude, taking the Gemini necklace for constant special resets is wonderful. If I can beef up my special at the next shop, that would be great in whatever metric that I can. Yeah, you're seeing all of our little mice summons are spawning in 1 mechanic on their own each, but since I have so much AoE, I quite frankly don't care. So you can see right here, I have to immediately identify which area, which orb is going up or down and away from the tether. That way I can successfully dodge it, because if I'm in the wrong lane, then I'd be going straight towards the tether in the areas of safety instead. So just gotta be careful about that. And once again, that's just pattern recognition, but I think I've done this, I've struggled against this fight enough to recognize those patterns. There's later boss fights that I still don't recognize the patterns of. Red Dark House, if we get to that in this run, funny enough. But, at least for now, this is pretty muscle memory to me, just from playing this game so much, I feel. So now we got our first big spinners, so you're seeing that is a huge line beam that will spin in the direction notated, so I just gotta move along with it for now. Not too bad. Church Mouse Streets, I've taken 1 damage all area. I gotta say, I'm pretty happy with that for getting back into Rabbit and Steel, because I haven't done a full run since literally a month. Once I started making the art for this and everything, I just haven't done much else. So let's see here. Cooldown is greatly reduced, but no longer randomly resets. Ew. Charges your primary twice, charges your special every 2 times it's used. Decent. Grants all allies haste and war cry for 5 seconds. Ooh, I do enjoy that. Because haste increases my global cooldown. So the fact that I could keep getting resets on that potentially is huge. The question is then though, do I take the Opal Petal? Because yeah, it increases the damage, but that's moot with my dagger. Do I want it charging my special? I mean, I'm using it so much, I might as well at that rate. Since I am always rotating it, there's no reason not to. Next thing I'll probably buy is this potion of gold. Gives you 5 golds each fight, lasts until the next stage. So basically, I'm investing. For my 10 gold now, I'm turning 9 into 20. So I'm going to profit 11 off of it overall. Just drinking some water real quick. But welcome to the King's Arsenal, everybody. Home of the Wolves. This area's mechanic revolves around a lot of pushing you in different locations. So you're going to have to obey that. It will restrict your movement. Instead of being able to move freely, you will move basically on lateral steps, vertically, horizontally, in one direction through what's called turbulent winds. And also, it will restrict the area that you can overall move in through field length, I think is what the status effect is called. But basically, it's all about restricting your movement and making you uncomfortable on how you can actually position yourself. You can see here, yep, exactly, will be not bad. And now turbulent winds are happening, so all this stutter stepping is actually the game's doing and not my own specific. So it is screwing up my inputs slightly or so, but that's intentional because it wants to get me off kilter. Because if I don't move in the right direction, as you can see here, if I move directly left or right, I could easily be hit by any of these beams, and then everything starts going down the gutter. I will say though, the haste is actually a little bit counterproductive with my gauntlet, my Lancer gauntlet, considering how I'm casting my abilities so fast that I don't even have, that everything's on cooldown if my special doesn't reset in time, which is absolutely a first world problem, dude. Alright, keep casting that special, baby girl. So you can see here, I'm restricted to the red or blue cubes, basically, at the moment. Just due to these two wolves casting, I didn't touch the status effect. But no big deal. But of course, it plays a lot more when you're playing co-op with people, since you could be sectioned off from your teammates and need to get help with that and all. But now we're getting introduced to the main other, I guess, mechanic that you could say of the King's Arsenal, which is cleaving one side. So I have to keep constantly paying attention to where yeah, exactly so, where the damage areas are going to be. I pressed my special for no good reason there, and moving in accordance to where it needs me to be in the little circles in the middle here, or exactly so, where where the safe little area is amidst all the chaos. But thankfully, once again, since I'm Dancer, I can validate a lot of this fight, since I am just dealing so much AoE damage. So I am pretty gosh darn happy with it. Seen here, just gotta pay attention to where the safe circle is amidst all the moving. Or I could get a crit for plus 1k and just keep moving along. Pretty simple, and my build is, quite frankly, online. Increase special damage by 200, if it was 200%, that would be stupid. Whenever you gain invulnerability, your special has a chance of resetting. Could be stupid. Since every 16 seconds, slice for 700. Your special inflicts burn, which is another negative status effect, actually, that I could apply, which will deal damage equal to, at the end, to the damage of my ability. So basically, it's doing 546 base. Without even thinking about it. Yeah, 546 base, not counting if it's charged, and then, right, at the end of 5 seconds. I think I will take it considering how I have the charge. I can also take the Obsidian Hairpin, that way I can try to guarantee more resets with my haste. I think I like the burn, though, because I could keep going for more negative status effects with my last piece of gear later on, and also, I find it hilarious to have 2 dots out as effects, exactly so, Burn and Ghost Flame going. But welcome to Marin, the Steel-Tooth Wolf and the boss of this area. As you can see right here, she is challenging us with 2 mechanics at the same time of cleaving to a certain side of the battleground, and also pushing me as well. And now she's even introducing the turbulent winds, so I have to be exactly careful with how I am positioning myself, and overall making sure I am in the right corner Field limit is the word right there. Alright, I was too busy reading field limit to actually pay attention to where my position was, and I got hit by that, so that was my own hubris. But you're seeing here, I can't move too far out of the little central rectangle it's set for me while she's raining down knives. Not the worst pattern, but thing is, you will always be dragged into the field limit if you weren't initially in the range, so it forces you to have to immediately adapt to the enemy's terms, and at least in later difficulties, that is very, very nasty. Seeing right here, I'm not necessarily having any big problems with dealing with her so far. That's already phase 2, and I only took 1 damage. Granted, I didn't take any damage in the last area's boss fight, but I took 1 damage in the Chartreuse streets altogether. So is it really a problem? Nah, not really. It's great. Oh, I got cleaved by that very slightly. Okay, now that is a slight problem. I was about to say, what is great is how my defensive keeps resetting on its 30%. And then I just, you know, immediately got cleaved otherwise. So, unfortunate, unfortunate. By the burns, please. Keep dodging, Cruzie. You're doing great. Nice. Fine enough. See, this is why I love Dancer. Once again, invalidate a lot of mechanics just due to having AoE or large range. I can concentrate on gambling with my special resets, and it's just it's just a lot of what appeals to my what appeals to me. Not to mention, if I ever do play multiplayer, giving additional damage and potentially even, like, you know, CDR reduction from this, from my current upgrade with haste. Ooh, can't say better teamwork than that overall, can you? Now, even though Marin is off-screen, I can actually still clip her with my abilities and as time slowed. So I'm trying to do exactly that. So I can push my damage line up like so. Nice stuff, Cruzie. 2 damage taken, so I'll spend 5 butts to heal. And we go to the Red Dark House. Of course we do. What is commonly considered by many people to be the hardest area in the game. Damage reduced but now hits 3 times. I actually hate that considering that'll hit my meteor staff hits. So instead, what I could do is something like gain 1,000,000 levels. That way I can just move my overall damage up. Increase my specials damage. Yeah, let's do that, and then let's spend all the rest of my money in levels. So my special, even though I don't buy a regular upgrade, it's still doing 698. Remember, each level is 8% of damage. 1% I'm dealing more. So I basically increased my damage overall by like 10%. Hey, D3. Yeah! I'm playing myself, Chief! Isn't it cool? And I'm also having a really wicked dancer run right now. So it's going pretty nice. How are you today, friend? How are you? Hopefully you're doing well enough, all things considered. Yeah, getting back to things here. Many would consider the Red Dark House the hardest in any difficulty. Ah, oh, darn it. I got clipped there because I was still looking at the wrong thing. Because they demand so much out of you. It probably has the attacks that have the least amount of telegraph time. They have big AoEs and force you to basically be in so many pixel perfect situations, otherwise you get clipped. And I'm saying this on lunar difficulty especially so, because I have not quit it on lunar yet, and it very much so goes to so. But as you can see here, yeah, a lot of big laser abilities, a lot of big deadly cubes, everything like that or so, and it is not necessarily fun, and I got clipped again, dude. Well, if me taking 2 damage already isn't showing, considering I've only taken 1 damage in the fights leading up to the bosses so far, it's not the best. Yeah. Like, Red Dark House demands a lot out of you, and especially, like, even when we get to the boss, on hard, I have not actually figured out all the patterns yet, let alone if I ever wanted to clear it on lunar, gods forbid, if I was able to ever get to that point. So I've cleared 2 areas out of the 5 on lunar so far, but that is still a very big ask. Oh, you still had ads going? Oh, well, that's unfortunate for the pre-rolls. God damn it, dude. Okay, like I said, I haven't played Rabbit and Steel in the whole month that I was working on this mod. The fact that I have taken 3 damage over on Red Dark House just normally going is kind of showing my wear and tear. But yeah, you can see like exactly so, just from how much I am just naturally struggling compared to the other areas. I'm just kind of not, like, Red Dark House already hurts a lot, and once again, everybody pretty much agrees, without a doubt, that Red Dark House is the hardest area in the game. Every 20 seconds, grant Rapid Luck to all allies. That does mean, no matter what, if I have Rapid Luck for 5 seconds, that means all of my abilities that have chances to reset, meaning my Gemini necklace pairs with it, will guaranteed keep proccing, so I can just keep spamming my special if it comes to. Holy Greatsword is automatic damage and grants Smite for 10% more damage always, but that is... I'm looking at Bolt Staff or Glittering Trumpet, because Bolt Staff is pretty funny, considering if I get my special resets on Gemini Necklace, that's just 150 more damage at all times. But I like Glittering Trumpet, because if I do so, I can just spam both my defensive and my special, because of Gemini Necklace guaranteeing. Because Rabbit Luck, a mechanic in this game, temporary become extremely lucky, means that any percent chances will always succeed. I don't know what it does for crit chance, but at least for percent chances, that's an always pass. So I think that's just going to be better in the long run, and really stupid. Pretty comfy and normal, so it's hard, but going on basically don't touch. Yeah, well, funny enough too, like, I actually, like, yeah, like, I've only really played solo too much, so I'm actually still not that versed in actually how co-op goes too much otherwise when it comes to. So I still need to play instant co-op with friends or so, sometime. Multiplayer changes things a little bit, yeah, because like, the biggest things is like you actually get the stat spread markers to actually go off instead of it just being, you know, just what is essentially bullet hell at all times otherwise. Wait, I also just realized I had Rabbit Luck proc, and I wasn't paying attention. Alright, we're fine. But anyway, we're here with Renaue, the Mythril Dragon, who is what, once again, a lot of people would consider to be the hardest boss in the game. Not even... Oh, I moved too ahead of the marker there. Even counting the final boss herself, just because of how much her mechanics demand from you in paying attention and learning. And once again, like I said, I have not figured out all of mechanics on hard yet either. I very much so do still struggle. So, skill issue from my end, but also, like, it is something of its own accord. Anyway, I got Rabbit Luck proccing, so you can see how many times I'm just using my special right there. Yeah, that's like the one thing I feel is unfortunate is the final boss is always pretty binary. And even the final area leading up to the end of your runs. So it'll always just be, you know, the areas leading up to the very end, which will just, you know, like I said, demand your attention and really decide if your run succeeds or fails. But as you're seeing here, Renaue has just a whole shitload of big AoEs, of deadly lasers, and a lot of things that you just gotta constantly pay attention to and find your little divots of safety and all. As you're seeing here, yeah. When has one of her attacks not involved a deadly cube or deadly laser? Yeah, not really much. At the very least, though, my build is so online that I am going to motor before we get to, like, your 3rd or 4th rotation, which is where I struggle, because that's the area that I have not figured out how to map out yet, because I struggle so much. Like, even now, I know I'm not in the right place. I'm still very much so struggling otherwise. I need to get to the other side, but I'm not going to reach it. So I just got to mash my invuln, and thank you for the reset! Thank you for the reset that I didn't press the invuln button twice! Haha! Because otherwise I would have been down to 1 health there, dude. Okay, this run's fine. We're making it to the Pale Keep. We're good. Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, I shudder trying the Red Dark House in Lunar difficulty. Alright, heal up without a doubt. My chance now is Emerald Lily Blossom. Deals more damage, but cooldown is greatly increased. Without a doubt, best upgrade for me, because guess what? I can get resets with the Glittering Trumpet or with my other abilities, so I don't care! Oh man, a burn that can deal over 1k naturally by itself? just due to charging my special from the Opal Petal and even the War Cried defensive, it's done. Getting Pale Keep usually means you win, but you can also still get screwed on the Pale Keep, actually, without a doubt, just due to, like, your character and also what weapons that you get from the Queen. Because, like, I know, like, for example, like, if you get, like, the Ats as, like, the Assassin, and you don't actually have a good DPS profile, and you're super dependent on, like, your backstabs, you actually can feel pretty screwed over. But for where I am, yeah, no, I am pretty, locked in. Because I have my whole kit synergizing with itself, and it is a wonderful thing to see. Like, when I'm naturally getting over 1k prots on the majority of my hits, it's great, dude. Like, 1k, I'm hitting for 2ks on my burns, or just natural special hits afterwards, too. It is wonderful. Yeah, going back to things, how are you doing today, D3? Hope you're doing well. Little Cruzie just dancing on, chilling out, having a blast. Oh, I love this game. It's great. And I got my reset to my special. Get ready for repeated 2Ks. Yeah, only thing I need to really time with my kit is making sure my special's on off cooldown when Glittering Trumpet hits every 20 seconds. That way I can just get like 5 special prots in a row. Primary deals 70% more damage. Gain Flowant every time you move 15 rabbit leaps. Huge. Gain 8 every 18 seconds using primary gives you LG for 5 seconds. Could be big as well. I do like the flow in, and I could easily time that out with my trumpet and just the special itself. Yeah. Alright. Let's just chill out here, because it is just what is the Rabbit of the Moon, and there's, once again, a whole story mode to this if you play solo, but I really kind of cleared it out, so, yeah. But welcome to Shira, the Rabbit of the Moon. I'm gonna try to move as little as I can because I want my special to, I want my Flowant to proc exactly so when my special is actually off cooldown. So I'm getting almost like above 2k on my damage potential and all. It's stupid. And when I get the trumpet going too, look at that, just constant thousands of damage, dude. It's so stupid. I was pretty proud of the Into the Moon cutscene. Dude, the Rabbit of Memory scared the shit out of me when I was playing alone. Just it was late at night in my room without any lighters. So when that cutscene first happened to me, I was absolutely shook. I am telling you, D3. Do you know what happens to lonely rabbits? Oh god, dude, that is actual creepypasta material. This game's wonderful for all of its big and small ends. And also, Trumpet goes again. Have like 5 specials in a row. Oh man, this is absolutely a wonderful build to get to showcase Cruzie and Steel 2. And I am enjoying every single second of it. Alright, wait for my Trumpet proc. I got Flowant and Trumpet, so look at this. Look at that. Oh, the repeated procs of damage is so stupid and sweet, and I love it all. Yeah, like I told you, like, the build's online. There's no chance that the enemy has it all here. Trumpet did proc, but I got my reset, so look at that. 3k, 4k, 2k, under a k. Okay, a little unfortunate there, but it's fine. Good invuln timing as well, because I would have taken damage otherwise. Now, I will say, I think I did screw myself there, because now I'm going to take damage from this unblockable attack. But it's whatever. Fact is, I have Trumpet procs! I don't care! Oh, how stupid my run is, dude. I might actually get clipped. Never mind. I'm absolutely goated at this game. Special's ready. Trumpet proc. 3k! 3k! 1k! 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 Yeah, nah. I am totally fine. As long as I don't beef it at the very end here, but I should still basically be good to go. Trumpet branch. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 hits. I can use my invuln this time to get through the unblockable attack, and it's over. Yep. What a very, very successful run for Dancer Rabbit, ladies and gentlemen. And for the first test run of Cruzie and Steel in the wild. Oh my goodness. It's me! I'm in a video game! Again, I was in Orange Juice first, but this is a mod that I made myself. Because Mittens, one of our wonderful artists in GaleForce, made the Orange Juice mod. Whereas I made this all on my own. And I am very, very proud of it all. Will we be able to download? I will be releasing it, actually, in 2 days from this recording, on my birthday. I think it's like, Game Banana, or like whatever mod website that Rabbit and Steel have it on. I'll just be putting that out, and it's just a PNG, so I might be able to just put it on Twitter as well. But I will release it to the public then, and I will be so sweet. Oh, I am just so filled with joy getting to play Cruzie and Steel.